What do people in their jobs really need to know? And what is at the basis of whether we know people know how to do their job? And what we came down to was that there was more than one way of teaching people well control. Bring the best ideas about each of these positions and how they function within a well control incident, and try to make one standard. People will learn to do the critical things in their jobs first. That's all we want them to do. We want them to do the critical things that are in their job to prevent well control incidents. 5 years from now, I don't think we will look exactly like we're running our training right now. I think we will be doing much more of it in shorter periods around very basic and simple concepts, and we'll be recertifying people just as pilots do every 6 months, just as the nuclear industry does every 6 months, and it'll be a lot more focused.
What it does is it brings everybody together. It brings the operators, it brings the contractors, it brings the service providers, and it creates a mechanism where everybody can have input and they can help develop one standard, and everybody can take that standard and get unified behind it so that we can really move this industry to a different place of competence where we know that everybody on the rigs is competent in what they're trained to do. This is about teaching them what they need to know and what's important and what's critical to success, and really for managing their barriers and to be able to be successful.
When we started the WellCap advisory panel, we started with members from the operations folks, so operators, and we started with drilling contractors, and it was really, the intention was to come together and have a thorough and very candid dialogue about where we thought that well-controlled training needed to go. So we were really focused on the standard, and that was really our scope. As we engaged with our colleagues across the pond over in Europe, we started to realize that the standard was really one part of really this kind of larger ecosystem that we needed to address. We needed to address not just the standard itself, but how that standard was going to be governed. How are we going to make sure that voices around the world were going to be heard, that folks across the industry were going to have an opportunity to both contribute to it and to truly participate and buy in to the standard that they helped create. So not just the standard, but the governance of that standard became really important for us to consider. A standard that would be global, and it really took on kind of a different level of that conversation to say IADC, if it was going to take on administration of this standard worldwide, was going to have to really create a very different kind of organization to be able to administer it effectively worldwide. As we started to explore those three different areas, the standard, the administration of the standard, and the governance of that standard, it started to become apparent to us that we were talking about a new entity, something that if we were able to give birth to it, really, could govern that standard, make sure that that standard was properly administered, and really be the guardians of it to ensure that it was meeting the needs of the industry. And in doing that, we discovered that Well Control Institute could not only do that, but with that as its foundation, could then expand and look at all aspects of well control. Let's make sure that what we're doing is what has the biggest impact on safety for our employees around the world, for our rigs around the world, for our communities, for the environment, because truly that's what we all care about. And if we had this place where folks could come together from around the industry and around the world to do that, boy, that seemed like just the best thing we could possibly do. So it's truly in that spirit that we are looking to create the WCI and ensure that it has the greatest impact possible. IADC has, bar none, across any of these industry associations, industry organizations, the broadest membership and the broadest reach. IADC is truly it's truly international, it's truly global, and it touches every aspect of oil and gas. And so IADC is the home, truly, to have this kind of an institute, because we have the membership, and the membership is active, is participatory, is engaged in ensuring that we have safe and productive work across the world. So IADC is the perfect home for the Well Control Institute to be born from, so that it has that full industry representation across different disciplines within the industry, but also around the world. So IADC is really where the Well Control Institute has the amount of impact that it truly can have.